If you're a content creator or editor, low latency wireless audio is a game changer, and these headphones might be the most affordable way to get it. I'm Christopher with Cozy Tech Reviews, and today we're diving into the Studio Max 1 DJ wireless headphones from OneOdio, which is a company known for delivering high-value audio gear without blowing your budget. OneOdio sent these out for review, but as always, here's my honest and transparent, buyer-friendly review. So here's what you get in the box. You get the OneOdio Studio Max wireless headphones, of course. You get a 3.5mm to 6.35mm coiled audio cable, a 3.5mm to 3.5mm straight cable, and that comes with a 6.35 or 1/4 inch detachable adapter. And then you have a USB-C charging cable, the M1 low latency wireless transmitter. This is what allows you to get that low latency connection between the headphones and your Mac, whatever you're using, a soft carrying pouch, and a quick start guide and warranty info. Now, the industry standard for headphones are 40mm drivers, but these come with a whopping 50mm driver size, and that means more sound, more volume, more bass, all of those particular things, all based on the way that they're tuned. Now, these are high-res and high-res wireless audio certified, LDAC as well. Bluetooth 5.2 supports both wired and wireless playback. USB-C charging for these, up to 120 hours of battery life in these, which is crazy. And I've been using these for a while, and I've charged them once. 4-button interface for control, and mostly it's a 3-button interface. We'll get to that in a second. The ear cups are soft and they're spacious. They fit around my ears really well. I'll show you that here. And that makes them good for really long sessions, especially if you wear glasses. There's not any pressure on your glasses when you're wearing these. And at first glance, these headphones looked really big, and those ear cups and the thick headband really stand out. But once I put them on, I was surprised by how light they felt. They're not heavy at all. It's just the look. They are made with very lightweight materials, and the headband is soft and nice. The red stitching gives it kind of that high-end look. So let's talk about the build and kind of the fit. I mean, these are your standard over-ear fit with very large but soft cushions. I mean, I said this already, there's no pressure on the ears, and the materials are plastic and metal mix, kind of, you know, where you adjust, etc. With a matte black finish with a nice textured finish on the actual cup itself. The build quality, however, even though it's very lightweight, is sturdy. There's nothing flimsy or creaky. There is a weird little sound, a popping noise when you squeeze the headband. Probably be due to like the materials inside flexing against each other. And so that was kind of interesting. But they, like I said, they're surprisingly light. Even though they look bulky, when you pick them up in your hands, they don't look that way on the head, I don't think. You let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are on the way that these appear while I'm wearing these. Like I said, there's 4 buttons total, but there's 3 buttons that, you know, that are easy to feel and use. There's a texture button in the middle. That's going to be your multifunction button, but your volume up, your volume down. And it's super easy to learn what each of them do in order to control these without having to look down, etc. The M1 transmitter is really great. You plug that in via either a USB-C, or you can plug that in via the 3.5 cable that comes with it. Using the wireless, you know, the headphones, this is the part that matters, right? What is the experience like when using these? I've been using these with my MacBook M3 Pro, and I use it with the M1 transmitter, and it is an instantaneous connection. Like, you plug it in, I use the 3.5, I plug it in through my headphone out port, turn on the M1, turn on the headphones, and it's instant. As far as latency, I notice no latency. And what I'm using it for is not necessarily to DJ or anything like that. I use it primarily for editing on Premiere Pro and you know, editing within CapCut and things like that for my vertical and my horizontal content that I'm creating. That experience, there is no latency from the time that I you know, have the headphones on my ear, on my head, and what I'm watching on the screen. I even, from time to time, you know, when I'm taking a break from editing, if I've been editing for a while or so, watch a YouTube video or a couple reels or something like that, there's no latency at all when it comes to voicing or anything like that. I even tried it out for gaming. For gaming, they work just fine as well. And there's a feature I'm going to talk about next that, because normally you'd be like, I wouldn't wear these type of headphones for gaming, but there's a feature that I'm talking about next, and I'll show you how that plays into it. But as far as like the actual wireless latency standpoint, for me as a content creator, these are perfect. But there is a feature that activates basically like a bass boost mode, and it's heavy bass. And it is heavy bass, it's an instantaneous discernible difference. You know, sometimes where they say there's a bass mode and you turn it on and there's not very much, difference from what you're hearing, maybe a little bit. This turns this from a pair of mixing DJ headphones to an entertainment focused headphone.
Laying on the sofa, cup of orange juice in my hand, waiting for some thunder, fireworks, some fun, man. I haven't been feeling it lately. Technology, come and help me. I just wanna feel up and naughty.
And I mean, it's great for music. It's great for watching. Like I said earlier, I'll throw on reels and I watch YouTube videos and when I was in a hotel, Netflix or something like that while the kids are asleep. And the bass boost is audibly noticeable immediately, like I said a second ago. It's great for music and all of that stuff. I would not use it for editing because it is a rumbler. And so that is a feature that I was surprised by. I was like, dang, that's has a lot of bass. So that is a really sweet feature that comes along with these. As I said earlier, the controls for these, there's, like I said, 4 buttons, but there's 3 buttons that you control everything with. But what the quirky thing about it that I don't like about it is that in order to go forward, you hold down, one of the volume buttons. In order to go back, you hold down another volume button. You have to hold it for a full second before it either goes forward or a full second before it first goes back to the beginning of the song you're listening to and then goes back to the song before that when listening to music, which I guess that's a secondary use for these because these are designed for actively listening while editing and mixing and all of those things. But that function can be a headache because, say for instance, you listen to like 6 songs, you want to go back to like the beginning of your playlist. You literally got to wait a second to go back to the beginning of the song you're listening to, then a second, then a second, then a second, then a second, then a second. So you get the point. It's like 7 or 8 seconds before you get back to the beginning of that playlist if you're at song 6. And so that's not the best experience. I wish they would have used like a double click to go back because the double click isn't used for anything. And because these are tactile pretty much, I mean, they're membrane, but they have a pretty tactile bump to them. I feel like you could use that a lot better with navigating forward and backward versus a long press. But that's really, as far as the controls, that's really my only gripe because other than that, only having to know 3 buttons and kind of what to do with those 3 buttons make these really easy to use without actually having to look up. And the texture button in between the other ones allow you to really find it really easily without having to like search. Some headphones you're like trying to find it, whereas these are really easy to locate. My overall real world use, as far as like listening to this, like what comes in your ears, vocals are clear, great, really good detail. If you put on that bass mode, it's powerful, it's immersive, right? I think it shifts the mix heavily, so like it goes from literally flat to aggressive and colored really fast. Latency, there's no latency whatsoever. 20 milliseconds. I think the standard for industry is like 30 milliseconds on a really good Bluetooth headphone, 30 to 50, but 30 on a good one. And gaming headphones are like somewhere around 50, 55, and 70. And again, this is 20 milliseconds when it comes to latency. So these, are designed for mixing and editing, but if you need a one-stop shop for mixing, editing, gaming, content creation, consuming content, all those different things, these might be good for you. When it comes to editing, like in Final Cut or Premiere, there's no sync issues whatsoever. So like if I'm doing a voiceover or if I'm doing something like that, there's nothing, along the lines of that. Battery life, 120 hours is a crazy amount of time for something to be good. I've had these since the beginning of March and battery life has been amazing. These have, as far as like the build and stuff like that, I have no issues with these whatsoever. They've held up really well. I think the overall pros of this is that there's no app, there's no software EQ or anything like that because they're designed for mixing. So You're gonna get that very nice flat sound as necessary. And there is one feature that I wanted to share, here towards the end. If you look at the headphones right there, you have one side that is the 1/4 inch, and you have the other side that is really like a 3.5 with a locking mechanism almost, because you can use either way. And it comes with one cable that has 3.5 on one end or a 1/4 inch on the other end, as I showed earlier. So if you need to connect 3.5 inch in your laptop, then you can plug in the 1/4 inch in this, and vice versa. If you're working with like equipment, like a mixer board or something like that, you can plug the 3.5 into the headphones, and then you can plug the 1/4 inch into the mixer board. So it gives you that functionality where you can use either side as needed. And I think they pretty much thought of pretty much everything that you need specifically at this price point, right? This price point allows these to be so appealing to what you get versus the market. And let's talk about the market. The only other headphones that I know off the top of my head, now you correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, that I know are the ones that I own, which are the III TM2 Studio Plus wireless headphones. And those are $330. And they don't have that added feature to like switch over to audio, to like add in bass and stuff like that later. They don't have that. And so they do have the same thing where you can use the wireless low latency or you can do Bluetooth, but they don't have that more characterized audio that you can get when you're not mixing and things like that. And so those are only for sitting down and mixing with a very flat signal, etc. So I think these at over half the price, I guess, 169, yeah, half the price, have those beaten features. Although the quality on that one, as far as like the materials, are a little bit higher as you would expect for that price range, but I don't know if you actually need that. So that is a personal preference, I guess. So yeah, so low latency editing performance, bass heavy casual listening, all day comfort, and a simple no fuss setup. I think it's really hard not to recommend these at this price point. Even though they seem kind of big at first, like I said, you let me know what they look like on my head. They're actually super light, versatile, reliable, and I think they're a solid choice for work and play, so both sides. So I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like and subscribe button. Stay cozy in that crazy world, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.